The melody's the same as the movie, but it sounds different. The music also adds a lot to the game. Play it loud in stereo, dude! No wonder George Lucas is hell-bent on redoing Star Wars. Look how much better the effects could be. Batman Forever will be one of the biggest games of the year. If you want a good RPG, wait for Zelda. Capcom scores points with PlayStation RPG fans with the charming Breath of Fire 3. Disregarding full motion video, the game is better than Final Fantasy VII, though not as good as Wild Arms. The Toy Story movie was done with Silicon Graphics computers, and the instruction booklet says the game's graphics were created with the same 3D computer models that were used in the making of the blockbuster movie. We don't know, however, if the game actually used Silicon Graphics computers. If SGI computers were involved, we suspect they were only used for character animation, because the backgrounds do not have the detailed quality graphics of Donkey Kong Country. As any good devoted game player knows, Donkey Kong Country was created with Silicon Graphics computers. He punishes you by forcing you to chop his logs. If only he knew how much fun this was. Of course, chopping logs in games is a lot more fun than chopping them in real life. So there you have it. Another thing that confuses us is Disney's marketing strategy. Since Pocahontas appeared in the theaters before Toy Story, why did the Toy Story video game come out before the Pocahontas game? Perhaps the Pocahontas game is being saved until the movie is released on video for some sort of joint marketing strategy. Otherwise, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a pretty decent game. You won't not like it, but it won't make you sing out loud either. Then again, no game does that. You can't win Toy Story without cheating, and this cheating brings victory much too quickly to warrant spending your money. People don't spend $60 on a game they know they can beat. With that in mind, one wonders why companies release game codes and stage selects. Video game buying has become too much of a game, no pun intended. The game is about finding a game that's not too hard, but not by any means easy. Codes and other cheats make games easy and not worth buying. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell if a game will last, or if a code will be released that makes it yesterday's news. There is, however, one last bastion: role-playing games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy III. These games will never fail you as far as challenge goes, but the potential for these games to become interactive movies has yet to be realized. With the Nintendo Ultra 64, however, that will surely change. The game is still hard though, like Diddy Kong Racing. Bottom line, when all is said and done, Toy Story has better gameplay than either of the Donkey Kong Country games. This is just one of the problems we've had with racing games for years. So if any game companies are listening out there, we'd be glad to help you make the world's best racing game. Just give us a call. This is a traditional 2D platform experience with no in-game cinemas or anything to set it apart from previous Dracula outings. There's an easy solution to this problem. Don't use the sniper rifle for aiming at objects. He's the funniest character in the whole movie, and he even comments on how great it is to have balcony seats when watching Flights of Fantasy, or FOF for short. Don't believe us? Here's the clip to prove it.
All right. Pour the wine and cut the cheese.
It is a treat to watch the colorful pageantry of the simple peasant folk.
Boy, nothing like balcony seats for watching the old FOF.
Why not have a game where you have to find and drive to the hospital before your wife delivers her baby? For inspiration, creator and artist Ed Beard used a real person for one of the most rare and powerful cards. The Cosmic Adjudicator appears in only one of every 9 packs of cards. He's a supreme being whose powers are awesome. Twister has great camera shots, so good you'll notice them. GoldenEye is basically a first-person shooter game. With the DualShock controller, you will actually feel his heart attack. Wayne's World, excellent. Not. Pac-Man 2 is without a doubt the best game ever for Pac-Man. Double Dragon 5, just another street fighting game. Has anyone ever won this game? The game is easier if you manage not to confuse him or get him into dangerous situations with dogs, cats, hens, bees, ghosts, or skateboards. Final Fight 3, more monotonous punching and kicking. Speaking of monotonous, so is this segment. Let's kill it. Last Core gets an A- for great graphics, creativity, fun, and balanced play. The game doesn't quite have the feel of a Bruce Willis movie. Earthbound, wacky and wild, horrible graphics, annoying battles, and endless corny text. Third, don't try to rush through the third level to beat Buzz Lightyear. You'll never win. Gex, Enter the Gecko is slightly more ambitious than Rugrats. Come on, Big Disney is one of the richest corporations in the country. Let's get real here. With all the gory violence that is sure to scare the pants off Neanderthal politicians, but don't forget to anticipate the angle of the dangle when the ball bounces off the walls. The animation is pathetic. Was this game made 5 years ago? Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's like turning Mario into a sports game, or turning Bomberman into a one-player game. You just don't do it. DKC2's music is nowhere near as ear-catching as the original soundtrack. This is the age of South Park. We don't like South Park, but we do like Resident Evil 2.